Sharpe has traveled the country and has personally visited every county in New York State, listening to people's concerns. The Sharpe Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharpe Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharpe Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. The number to call, you're going to chat with me after the break, 585-346-3000. You know, a lot of stuff has been happening recently. Been checking some polling, looking at what people are thinking. The recent State of the Union address, attacks on Biden, attacks on Trump, back and forth. And I do hear people saying they want change. Hear it all the time. But then when I say things like, well, what about this thing? What about that thing? What I often get is, yeah, but. I get a whole lot of yeah, but. I would do it, Larry, but this. I think you're right, Larry, except that. All the time. I hear it with voting. I hear it with policies. I keep hearing, I want change. And I remember when I was in college years ago, I'm a little bit older than some of you and younger than some of you. But when I was in college, I had a teacher. And it was my anthropology, one of my anthropology classes. My degree is actually in anthropology, believe it or not. So she said, so often when I would tell people in foreign countries, here's how we can make things better. Here's how we could change things. And she was often in foreign, like Nepal, or she'd be in India, or someplace like that. She'd be someplace trying to help people in the 70s, 80s. She'd be doing that. They would say, no, we have to wait and hope, and we'll try to fix things and we'll hope. And she said anthropologists often call that a peasant mindset. And the reason why they call it that is the idea that if only there was a good king, if only there was a good queen, if only there was a good leader who would come, if the heavens would open and the Savior would show, life would be okay. Let's just wait for that. And I remember being in class thinking, well, that doesn't make much sense. Shouldn't they want to fix their life or do something? And she explained, no, this is what people know, depending upon where they come from. And as I got older, I learned there's an actual name for this. It's called learned helplessness. That's what it's called. Learned helplessness, where people simply accept their fate and go, this is all I can do. And they just surrender. And people ask me all the time, Larry, when is it going to get so bad that people actually change? And I say the same thing every time. Doesn't matter how bad it gets. People are not going to change unless they see one thing. And it's the combination of things being bad plus hope. I know some of you went, hope. Larry, stop. Is that Obama hope and change thing? Is that what it is? Well, as funny as that sounds, yes, it worked, didn't it? Obama didn't have any actual plans. Obama had hope. And half of America bought it. And went, yeah, we're in. Let's do this hope thing. It does work. If you're on the left, or lean left, I should say, and you heard Obama say hope and change, you were all in. But I'll go if you were on the right. Trump did it too. He said, make America great again. It's another way of saying hope. Same thing. If you're on the right, you bought that too. We do buy it. We do want it. Things getting bad doesn't mean anything. They'll just stay bad. That's what will happen. And the best example I can give anybody who's listening is Russia before the Soviet Union. Before that, peasantry, hundreds of years, almost nothing really changing. I mean, a little bit here or there, but hardly anything. A couple small rebellions here or there, but nothing big. Here comes Lenin. And Lenin says, I got this awesome thing. It's called communism. Gonna be great. And they go, what? Yeah, gonna be great. We're gonna be able to kill all the rich people. And then poor people are like, well, that sounds good. I like that part. How about the like being beaten and food? And Lenin said, well, not as much of the beaten part. The food, we'll get to kill rich people. And it just, we'll do that. And they were like, well, better than now, sounds hopeful. And they bought it and they went communist. Done. Now, that may sound funny. You may go, Larry, why would they want to become communist? Because it sounded a whole lot better than what they had. It sounded a whole lot better than what they had. Things were bad. Somebody gave them hope and they bought it. I'm looking at my city. I'm looking at my state. I'm looking at my nation. And I see lots of people talking about how they want change, how everything sucks, how everything's bad. We got to fix this stuff. And then when I show them, hey, here's this new idea, they fall back into peasant mentality. They fall back to, no, Larry, I'll just vote harder this time. And if I vote really hard, like I really take the pen and I circle really hard, I do it really hard, then maybe the awesome savior from heaven will come and fix my country and fix my state and fix my city. And I go, no, you've been voting hard for like decades, man. It's not working. But they keep doing it. And it can become, and I'm sure some of you hear this. I'm sure you might feel this. It becomes very frustrating. And then people want to quit. And then I become the quitter too. I go, you know what? You're right. Forget it. Let's wait for the heavens to open up and the savior to fall from the sky. We'll do that. We're done. I surrender. But I don't. I keep going. Because I feel in my heart that eventually I'm going to provide enough hope for enough people to go, this system may be broken and we may be able to fix it. And while people won't always listen to me, you all should listen to me, but you don't. That's fine. Maybe someone who is listening to me will then say some of the stuff that I say, and then someone will listen to you. I'll take it. You can be the one that says the right words that gets someone to go, well, no, I'm just going to vote Democrat again, or I'm just going to vote Republican again, or I'm just going to check out and watch Netflix and not bother voting at all. There is a way of moving this nation forward, of moving this state and city forward. There absolutely is. And the way of actually doing that is by not doing the same thing again and again and again. And I know, Larry, you don't understand. This is important. This is critical. See, if I don't vote for Biden, then the evil Trump will come in and destroy the entire world. Well, if I don't vote for Trump, then the evil Biden will come in and ruin our entire country. Well, both of them have been president. The world hasn't ended yet. But it has been getting worse under all of them. So the person who goes, no, Larry, you don't get it. This is the year. We have to make sure that we stop Biden or stop Trump or stop whomever's the next person who pops in. Please don't forget this important timeline I'm going to give you right now. Bush got us Obama. Obama got us Trump. Trump got us Biden. We're not winning. You're not winning. I'm not winning. They are winning because they're laughing all the way to the bank while they take all of our money all of our time, all of our energy. The country gets worse. The state gets worse. The city gets worse. They're doing just fine. They're doing great. And we keep thinking, well, next time I'll vote even harder. That's what I'll do. I'll vote super hard. And this time when I get Trump in, he'll fix everything. No, he won't. And 4 years later, you're going to have President Harris or, oh my God, or whatever, President Ocasio-Cortez, whatever. You're going to have that. And they're going to act like oh my God, that's in the world. Well, then after that, 4 years later, you're going to have President Cruz or whoever. It's the next one. They just rotate on and off. Last one I get. But Larry, they can't win. I can't vote for you if you run for governor, Larry. You can't win. But what if I just get enough to get people to rethink? What if the third party gets enough to get people to think? Then we can have some actual change, some actual hope. Please, guys, there is a way of making this work. And I know it can. If you think I'm nuts, you can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe, WYSL, Rochester, New York, Sharpe Way Radio, back with your calls. And I see you in the chat. I will take you after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
To live the quality of life we deserve in truth and freedom, informed by our Constitution, our laws, and traditions, we need to pick the best leaders possible. Recent experience certainly illustrates that. Free and accurate elections are essential if we're going to restore our society and safeguard our rights. New York Citizens Audit is a volunteer, nonpartisan group which has been lobbying for open source audits of the State Board of Elections and reform of the electoral process statewide. Did you know Citizens Audit has uncovered over 1 million felony violations of election law? That in 2020, there were 625,000 more voter registrations than existing voting age citizens in just 6 New York counties, that there were 338,000 more votes cast than voters who voted. These are just a few shocking examples of the urgent need for reform. You can help. Visit auditny.com and learn the facts, how to volunteer, and make a difference in your community. Again, volunteer, donate, or spread the word. Start at auditny.com. That's auditny.com.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
It is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York, 585-346-3000. Yes, I'm talking about change. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is I'm seeing people in New York City make actual change in their rhetoric. How about that? In their talk. Not necessarily in their actual actions yet, but at least in their talk. They're saying things like, oh, the old ways aren't working. This is a bad idea. Things are getting really bad. They're seeing their friends and families leave. They're seeing the businesses leave. They're watching people pack up and go away. And they're starting to think, maybe things aren't working. And the answers from those in charge, our glorious mayor, Barron Adams, and our glorious leader, Queen Kathy, first of her name, destroyer of the middle class, banisher of conservatives. She and he are both talking differently. They are. They're seeing the writing on the wall and they're talking differently. But their actions, they're not. Listen, the beatings will continue until morale improves. That is basically their answer. We will keep punishing you until you accept that things are good. So stop saying things are bad. We're going to keep punishing you until you say things are good. But what's happening, I feel, is two people are starting to say, things aren't good. And the hope they're seeing, sadly, for New Yorkers, is someplace else. Many of you have heard me say this before, and I hate that it's true, but it's becoming more and more true. If you go back years, people came to New York to be somebody. They came to New York City to be some kind of star, or they came to Rochester back in the day if they wanted to be some tech person, right? They came to Binghamton if they wanted to be some cool guy. They came to different parts of New York State to be somebody. Heavily New York City, obviously, particularly if you were a woman. Oh my God, women flock to New York City. They had TV shows about it, trying to come and be somebody. Now you find more and more people coming here, realizing they can't succeed, they can't be somebody here, and then they leave New York to be somebody. That's terrible. There are people who come to New York, get some kind of job here, take it as a resume builder, and leave. And then go someplace else and say, hey, now I'm going to Cincinnati, or now I'm going to Kansas City, or now I'm going to Phoenix, or wherever. I'm going someplace, Austin, Tampa Bay. I'm going someplace, and I'm going to use New York as my resume to show that I survived here. And if I can survive here, I can make it anywhere. Now, if you remember that song, it used to be, if I can make it here, I can make it anywhere. No. Now it's, can I survive here without being thrown on the train tracks? Can I survive here without being arrested? Can I survive here without being beaten in the streets? Can I survive here without having 5 roommates and not being robbed? Well, now I can make it anywhere. It's not supposed to be that way, but I feel like it is. So now the hope is someplace else. That's why we're losing 300,000 people every year. I'm saying, I'm hoping, I'm feeling that maybe the hope is here. Maybe they're actually going to start running out of money, rethinking, and enough people check out to where somebody steps up. Third parties step up. Independent parties step up. Independent candidates step up. And people say, yeah, I have some hope. But let's say it's not candidates. It doesn't have to be. I think it's amazing. Clearly, I'm biased because I ran as libertarian. So obviously, I'm biased. It doesn't have to be, though. It could be individual people who will step up, in their local communities who will step up. And the local authorities who are programmed to step on their necks immediately. How dare you try to make things work without government interference? I'm programmed to step on your neck. But at one point they say, you know what, it's not worth it. Because if I step on that guy's neck, the community is going to hammer me and I may not get elected again. So I'm just going to walk away and act like I don't see this. Because I can't say it's good. Because then my overlords, my baron or my queen will come down on me. So I can't say it's good. But can I just walk away? Yeah, I'll do that. And that sounds terrible. You're listening to me going, Larry, that's horrible. That's not how it should be. You're right. It shouldn't be that way. But if you live in this state, if you're around New York City, you see how bad it is. You see exactly what's happening. And what I'm talking about is amazing compared to what it is now. But more importantly, it's the hope that we need. Often I hear, Larry, you've been crossing this state every year for 6 years. It's true. Sometimes you go to events, 30, 40 people. Sometimes you go to an event, 2. True. Sometimes 1. Sometimes I go to an event, it's me and a guy or gal, we have lunch. That's true. And sometimes I got a packed room. Everything in between. Absolutely true. Why do I do it? Because I still think that once we hit a tipping point, we can turn this state. And New York State, still to this day, is the hope for the entire nation. Our previous monarch, King Cuomo, second of his name, feeler of butts, he actually said that New York leads the way and that the country follows New York State. As much as I don't like that man, he was right. He was right. I agree. See that? Even I can find something to agree with Cuomo on. Look, I am the consensus builder. See that? He's right. And if we can make this city better, and if we can make this state better, the entire country will follow. That will be the shining city on a hill. It can be that. But we have to have hope. People have to want to stay. People have to want to make sure that this will actually work. All right, let me grab a couple comments if I could. I got a bunch of you chatting. I'm sorry, let me grab a couple. John says, Larry, our queen is making the rounds in independent media for her police state policies in the subways. John, I cannot tell you how happy I am with that. You might say, Larry, why are you happy? Because it's my point. Independent media is another important piece. A lot more people are listening to independent media, to include WYSL, which you will listen to now. Yes, more and more are doing that. Not corporate media, but independent media. This is a good idea. She knows this is where it's going. If she doesn't attack this area, she's not going to be able to be successful. So this is a great thing. Absolutely. Michael Voss is watching. How are you, sir? He says, your vote doesn't matter. Only government can fix the problem. It's the foundation of progressive ideology. Yes. But sadly, conservatives aren't changing that. Conservatives don't say that, right? When it comes to government overreach, conservatives have much better rhetoric, 100%. The rhetoric is way better. But what is the actual governing? And in most states, government still grows. Budgets still explode. There is no change. But the rhetoric is definitely better. Absolutely. So yeah, I think that's 100% true. So D says, no one is here to save us. D, someone is. And the person who is the person you see in the mirror, right? I gave Cuomo some credit. I'm going to give, was it Obama who said it? I think it was Obama who said, I'm going to misquote it. The person to save us is us, something like that. Whatever. He probably quoted someone else. But the point is, we are our own heroes. We are the ones. Now, some of us can't physically do it. We have responsibilities. We have things that stop us, slow us down. Okay, I get it. But you can support others who will. You support them either I'll say the same thing. If you've got more cash than time, give cash. You've got more time than cash, give time. Whatever you got more of, give some of that. And if you don't have much of each, give a little bit of one of them, whatever that is. And as silly as it sounds, doing what D just did, going online and putting a comment, liking a comment, if that's all you can do right now, do it. If you can do more, I know D does more. She does events. She's out there doing things. And if you can do that, do that. Because we are the heroes that we're looking for. That's us. Austin says, in Kentucky, third parties are gaining strength, especially Libertarian Party. Ooh, glad to hear that. To the point where the supermajority parties are getting to get more oppressive laws passed before they lose their power. Oh my God, Austin, thank you for that. We do have one worry. They see it coming and they crush us before we can make the good attempt. You're right, Austin, that is a problem. Is Austin correct? Am I correct? 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and more of your chat after the break.
Welcome, Olean.
WYSL.
Proud to be your local talk station for great conservative, all-American programming.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll be looking at mainly clear skies, pretty comfortable. We'll drop back into the 40s on Wednesday, a gorgeous day coming up. Mostly sunny, nice and mild, into the low to mid 60s. The record's 71, so not quite record warmth, but pretty warm for this time of the year. Still some nice weather Thursday, near 60 with increasing clouds. Showers return on Friday. I'm Rich Cornelia, WYSL.
With warmer weather on the way, get ready for either on or off-road adventures with a new ride from Victor Chevrolet. Now, lease a 2024 Chevy Trax 1 RS front-wheel drive for just $189 a month for 24 months. Get the all-weather safety and capability of a 2024 Chevy Silverado LT Crew Cab for just $359 a month for 36 months. And then there's the 24 Chevy Equinox all-wheel drive LT, only $199 a month for 27 months. $2,500 cash or trade equity at closing. Tier 1 credit approval. Lessee responsible for repairs and maintenance. Must have lease and household for all these lease deals. Conditions apply. Get details at dealer. All factory rebates, incentives, and discounts waive. Whether you drive a Chevy or not, you can always trust your vehicle to our Chevy Certified Service Department. And check out our great used vehicle inventory, too. Come see how easy it is to do business with us. Together, let's drive at Victor Chevrolet, Route 96 in Victor. Visit victorchevrolet.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Tasker. Over the years, my wife Sarah and I have supported Heritage Christian Services and the work that they do to advance an inclusive and equitable community. Heritage Christian Services and their staff support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities by offering meaningful and diverse experiences. Like us, they believe that people are entitled to dignity, respect, equity, and justice, and that belief is reflected in all that they do. While disability services are what they were founded on, their work extends to offer life-enriching opportunities for people throughout the community through therapeutic writing, health and wellness services, and childcare, and more. Now more than ever, Heritage Christian Services needs your support to continue their work. Consider becoming a friend to Heritage Christian like Sarah and I did almost 20 years ago. You can choose to volunteer, share their job opportunities, or make a donation. To learn more, visit heritagechristianservices.org.
Caller
That's
Keith from Rochester.
heritagechristianservices.org.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentlessly targeting your business right now, seeking the tiniest opening in your defenses to drain your accounts and steal sensitive data. Your finances and your customers' trust are on the line. Call the experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
A once-in-a-century experience in a 19th century village. Visit
Did you catch that?
Village Museum on Monday, April 8th to experience
First call is Keith, and then we'll have Mike. But I'll drop Keith once you say thanks, Keith, for the call, and then I'll confirm that Mike is in. Thanks.
6th and 7th. Hands-on citizen, science, costumed historical educators, souvenir tintype photos, eclipse-themed food and drink, and more. Details at gcv.org.
The new Advantage Student Checking Account can earn you money. You get cash back rewards for everyday purchases and build your savings at the same time. Get cash for using your debit card and so much more. If you're a student or have one in your household, earn more and learn more at AdvantageFCU.org.
With my new Advantage Student Checking Account, I earn cash back for purchases, for using my debit card, add to my savings with the Roundup option, plus I get paid up to 2 days early. If you're a student like me or have one in your household, earn more and learn more at AdvantageFCU.org.
At AirQuip, it's all about your comfort. Comfort with our company, comfort with our team, and most importantly, comfort in your home. As a trained comfort specialist, we adhere to the highest standards of customer service, training, and industry expertise. With a trained system from AirQuip, you'll get the best products, honest prices, and service that's unparalleled. We are your home comfort specialists. Find out more at airquipheating.com.
AirQuip Heating and Air.
Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten Free Bakery has a great deal on Tuesdays. A large 4-topping pizza for $18, regular or gluten-free. Call 226-9575. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten Free Bakery in Avon.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Oh, yes. It is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. So happy you're here with me this afternoon. 585-346-3000 is the number. We've been talking about change in New York State. Hope and change. We become the Obama state. Oh my God, don't hang up. Anyway, so no, I'm teasing. Be good to me. It's funny. So I want to grab a couple calls if I could. First one, I want to grab Keith if I could. Keith, how are you, sir?
Well, here goes. Even though you talk on matters of reality, I've noticed about you, Mr. Sharpe, that like many people, you always try and put on an optimistic, even smiley face. It really is incumbent, I guess, in the way most people are wired. People want to be smiley faced, and they want others to like them. Most people really want other people to like them, but you, like most people, are not talking about the huge debt problem our country faces. And if a few things go wrong, we could become Venezuela overnight. Quickly, when the communists overthrew the Tsar in 1917 and 18, it was said of them that the slowest people on earth are making the fastest change. Well, that didn't happen. The Stalinist bureaucracy set in, and the Russian people muddled through it, like the British always say, keep up a stiff upper lip. But then decades and decades later, an older Russian emigrated to our country. He was in the supermarket. He saw all the food and everything at any American supermarket. He basically sat down in the aisle and cried, knowing immediately that he had been lied to in communist Russia. So in closing, I think that's what's going to happen, that your vaunted change is going to bring about yet another bureaucracy, and people will muddle through. They'll get through it, but it'll be a sinking ship. And until people's feet are really held to the fire, you're correct, they won't change. And that's a very dismal side of human nature. People just will not change. A few people will change, like the innovators and disruptors, but most people are sticks in the mud.
Let me touch a couple of those. One, you called me an optimist. Guilty as charged, 100%. No doubt I am. Some people will even call me my optimism naivete. I accept all of those titles, Keith, without hesitation. I can't keep going. I wouldn't keep going. And I can't get anybody going if I don't have that attitude. And if it was fake, you would have seen me drop it already. I've been doing this for 6 years straight. If this was some act, you would have seen me drop it. I have done over 500, maybe 600 live events across New York State in the past 6 years. I've done this show almost 200 times. I've done my own Sharpe Way show over 400 times. If I was lying, you would have found out already.
Mike.
So, yes, guilty as charged. Your debt issue, you are correct. But we can't make that change if people don't recognize. The first piece is getting people to recognize, to get that tipping point. We do that, Keith, and we have a shot at fixing everything you just said, because you are correct. Debt is killing us. By the way, both personal and the country, both. But right now, we're just, to your point, muddling along. If we don't get that positive hope, that positive change, that just over the top, we'll never fix the other things. So, yes, you're right. Yes, I'm an optimist. Yes, I want people to like it. 100%. Let me grab one more call if I could. This is Mike. Mike, how are you, sir?
Larry, pretty good. Hey, I don't think Trump is our savior. I never thought he was, but given the two options between what we have going on now, we don't have a viable third candidate.
Another call on hold.
RFK there is just not going to make it. Okay. And he's kind of on the real social side of life. As far as New York, our replacements have been flown in by the Biden administration. Remember the mysterious airplanes? They were showing up in Westchester.
Yes, I remember.
Blaming.
Rob
Everybody
Astorino was the only guy yelling about that. Do you remember Rob Astorino was yelling about that?
Yes. Our replacements in New York have already been flown in here. We lost a congressional seat in New York City. Well, with all these illegals, I know you don't like that term, and I will use that. I don't care.
I don't mind. You can use it. Use whatever term you want.
All the illegals, because they jumped the line, and when you willing to break one law, one of the more sacred laws that we have, to start in your process to become a citizen, you broke that law, you will break every other law. So
let me walk down a couple roads if I could with this. You brought up a lot of stuff. The idea of Trump versus Biden and picking Trump. Mike, I disagree 100%. 100%. Not because I want you to vote for Biden. I don't want you to vote for either of them. I don't want you to vote for Trump. I don't want you to vote for Biden. Why? Particularly if you live in New York. But even outside of that, New York State is going to go Biden. Anyone who tells you Trump in New York State is lying to you or is ignorant. Never is New York State going Trump. Not going to happen ever. So your vote doesn't count if you vote for Trump or if you vote for Biden. So vote for a third party. If you don't like Bobby Kennedy Jr., don't vote for him then. Vote for whoever the Libertarian Party is. Vote for the Green Party. Vote for Cornel West. Vote for whomever. If we keep voting left, right, we are making things worse, particularly in New York State. I would argue any state. People would fight me on like the swing states. I don't care about those either. But New York State is going Biden. Anyone who tells you anything else is either lying or ignorant. Not going to happen.
Dan.
So vote for a third party. If you don't like Bobby Kennedy, there's 2 or 3 others you can vote for. Or write somebody in. Write me in. Love it. Don't care. Do not vote Trump. Do not vote Biden, particularly in New York State. It's the only way we fix this. And it will take time. You're right. It may not be this time. Next one, the one after, whatever it is. If we don't make that turn, we're never going to make it. It's literally what Keith's talking about. We got to make that turn. All right. Let me grab one more call if I can. Dan, how are you, sir?
Excellent. How are you doing? I just Keith touched on the revolution of the Tsar in Russia. He left out the Zionist-led Bolshevik Revolution, which was the revolution that took out the Tsar. And later on, after being under the thumb of the Bolsheviks, the Russian people accepted communism, hoping that would be a better rail. Anyway, and the Zionists have been involved in that. Jacob Schiff, a New York banker, close ally of the Rothschilds, bankrolled the Japanese Navy to take out the Russian Navy, which was the premier Navy at the time.
Hold on. It was the Battle of Shimonoseki in 1905?
Sounds right.
Yep, there we go. I know my history.
So that fleet, that Japanese fleet, they took out that Russian fleet while it was parked in a harbor, just very similar to the Pearl Harbor attack, sneak attack. Go figure.
There we go.
So that just brings it full circle, you know.
There we go. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the call, my friend. I appreciate it.
You too.
Look, the reality of it is there are leaders who are trying to push their view on us. And I know, look, Mike has called this show more than once. He wants things to go well in New York, just like I do. But I got to say, I can't agree with doing the same old thing. Even won't work. The Peaceful Warrior says, Kennedy is the remedy. I like that. It's a good one. Kennedy is the remedy. Look, obviously Mike does not like Kennedy. Obviously the Peaceful Warrior does like Kennedy. Vote for either of them. Fine. Yes. Just don't. Look, I am clearly biased. I'm a libertarian. But if you don't like that, go the route that you want to go. What I'm telling you is don't fall for this is the only chance, lesser of two evils. Don't do that. Don't fall for that. It's a terrible idea. Am I right? Is Kennedy the remedy? You could tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Back with your calls and more of the chat. I see you after the break.
Introducing a sobering and unavoidable truth. The latest advancements in artificial intelligence have made cyber attacks easier than ever before. Cyber criminals are relentless.
All right, we got Roger now.
Business right now.
Kennedy might have been the answer if his name wasn't Kennedy, in my opinion. We don't need Bush. We don't need Kennedys. We don't need Clintons. Standby, phone's ringing again.
Experts at Simple Tech Innovations now at 585-999-TECH to secure your business today. Don't wait until it's too late. Make the call today. 585-999-TECH.
While many local collision and repair shops have been gobbled up by national chains with their impersonal touch, Flower City Collision remains locally owned and operated. The shop was started by a local veteran who taught his son Zach the basics in customer service and providing customers value. Flower City doesn't work with a specific insurance company. They want to be your advocate.
All right, calls are stacking up. After Roger, we've got Michael from Albany. He said you might know him. His nickname is the Peaceful Warrior.
Done right.
Yep. Gun and hunting supply.
So I'll let Roger know. We'll have to be kind of quick.
Here for your hunting needs. With changes in New York State laws, they'll work with you to fulfill your needs. Open from 10 a.m. Tuesday through Saturday, Avon Gun, East Main Street, next to Tompkins Community Bank.
Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten Free Bakery has a great deal on Tuesdays. A large 4-topping pizza for $18, regular or gluten free. Call 226-9575. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten Free Bakery in Avon.
Sharpe Way Radio on the WYSL stations.
Oh, yes. It is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio, WYSL, Rochester, New York. Thank you so much for giving me a small chunk of your afternoon. And I got to say, I made an error. It was not the Battle of Shimonoseki. That was a battle that the Americans fought to take over parts of Japan. The battle where the Japanese actually beat the Russians was the Battle of Tsushima, which is Tsu Island, in 1905. So I was off by a bit. I knew it was the Battle of something in the area. It was Tsushima. And that was off the top of my head. So give me a little bit if I could. Let me go back to the phones if I could. I want to grab Roger. Roger, how are you, sir?
Good. So Larry,
what's going on?
Let me give you some hope for the people. Okay?
Please.
Citizen ballot initiatives ran as amendments to be ratified into state constitutions and veto referendums to repeal laws, not just to push them into states that already give their voters that right and option to do so, but also to push more state legislatures in states like ours to adopt this and extend it to us. The problem is lack of money and resources for those of us who do not wish to be beholden to big money shareholder interests. The second problem is laziness. It's too much work. I'd rather sit, gripe, and complain about the problem or say, well, if we come up with a solution, then the government and those who own them will just come up with something to counter your solution with. Look, the shareholders, the oligopolists, the monopolists, and the government are coming for us harder than ever, whether we put up a fight or not. Might as well fight back and go down swinging while we fight for direct control over our democracy and economy with citizen ballot initiatives, veto referendums, and worker cooperatives. Bill A2933, S2290. Second thing,
Yep.
Venezuela is doing bad because of the economic sanctions our government has placed on them because their leaders decided they, a sovereign government who wishes to have sovereignty over their sovereign resources and do not wish to share them with U.S. shareholder corporate interests, say, oh, yeah, we'll fix that. Well, you don't want to share your stuff with us? We're going to place some sanctions on you and then drive up inflation and make it terrible, you know?
Let me touch both of those two if I could. Number one, 100% agree on citizen initiatives. I think it's a wonderful idea. It's a way to push past the oligopoly like you just talked about. It's a way to push past Queen Kathy and her minions. 100% yes on board.
Michael.
Love the idea. Second piece, I don't want any sanctions. I'm a libertarian. And I know some people don't like that. No, we got to sanction this guy, got to sanction that guy. Zero sanctions. None. If you individually don't like a country or a product or whatever, you may boycott. You may gather people together and make massive boycotts. We saw it happen recently in many different companies and work. I have no problem with individuals or even those gathering together to boycott or whatever they want, a nation, a company, whatever they want. 100%, yep, 100%, yes. But no, America should not be sanctioning anybody. I agree with you on both parts, Roger, 100%. Let me grab another call if I could. Mike, how are you, sir? Did
hello?
I lose you? Mike, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes, this is Peaceful Warrior. Thank you.
Hey, Peaceful Warrior.
Hey, glad to talk with you, Larry. Larry, a couple of things. We especially in New York, and not just New York, but our adjoining people in New England, we need open primaries, and you're no stranger to that. You've been railroaded at least twice, and I use the word railroaded. We need open primaries. We need ranked choice voting or other methodologies. And we either got to get rid of gerrymandering altogether, or we got to have the redistricting done by people that are not so involved, meaning both parties. I just wanted to add that in there. And Kennedy is the remedy.
Thank you. But let me grab a couple things if I could. I always bring up the idea of what I call the program, BRO, easier ballot access, ranked choice voting, and open primaries. Let me be clear on these three, because all three aren't actually required in every state. Depends upon the state. You may want all three or one or two of them. Better ballot access. Some states have decent ballot access, no concerns. Some are a disaster like New York State. It's got to be easy to get on the ballot. If it isn't easy to get on the ballot, gerrymandering works very well. If it's easy to get on the ballot, it makes gerrymandering harder. Ranked choice voting. The idea, some people don't like ranked choice. They like some other form of alternative voting. I'm actually okay if you want to do approval voting or star voting or whatever. I don't mind. I say ranked choice because it is the most popular and people know what it is in general if you know that world. And for those of you who don't know, ranked choice voting means you rank the people in order, right? So you say, well, obviously, Peaceful Warrior likes Kennedy, so he would put Kennedy number one. Then he'd pick whichever one he wants better. He'd rather have Biden than Trump or Trump than Biden. Why does that matter? It takes away the spoiler. So obviously, everybody will love me to be their governor, clearly. So you put me first. But if I can't win, you put your secondary choice. So if I don't win, your vote goes to the second person. So you get an offensive and a defensive vote. You don't have to go for the other one. If you don't like Kathy Hochul, you go for me, the Republican, and nobody else. So your vote goes to me. If I don't win, Republican gets it. All of a sudden, people can vote for the people they want. Why does that matter? This goes back to the other piece. Even if I don't win, people see how many people voted for me, and that creates a mandate for somebody else. So yes, 100%. And last is open primaries. Open primaries is an answer to no ballot access and or terrible gerrymandering. If you make ballot access easy and end gerrymandering, you don't have to have open primaries. But I would take it, but you don't have to. Not required anymore. Open primaries is the only way you can actually fix it when it's gerrymandered. and there's no ballot access. Did I cover all those things for you, Mike?
You did a very fine job there. Thank you so much for your input. I appreciate it. Love the show. Going to revisit it more often. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend. Good talking to you. So yeah, the whole idea of making change means you can't keep voting for the same people. I know I'm like a broken record, but it doesn't matter. It really does matter. 100%. Straight Chillaxin says, Larry Sharpe is libertarian. Prior top choice for New York governor and hopefully choice again in the future. Thank you. The only choice, in my opinion, for the crypto bros. Yes, I was the only one running and still believe we have to end the bit license in New York and we have to support people trading whatever they want. If you want to trade in cryptocurrency, go ahead. You want to trade in Bitcoin? Go ahead. You like dollars? Use dollars. Why should I be telling you what you trade in? I completely agree. I should let you trade in what you want to trade in, whatever that is. Dave is teasing me, and he says, Larry, haven't you heard? This is the most important election of our lifetime. If my guy doesn't win, there will never be another election ever. And he says, probably a Democrat Republican. That's every single election, my friend. I completely agree. It really drives me crazy, but I can't stop. I can't imagine not doing it. Joe says, don't talk about debt. Where is Pete Clark when you need him? You don't probably watch all my shows, Keith, but I talk about debt often. And Pete Clark usually pops on, and he literally puts the debt amount as a comment on my social media. You'll see a comment, it'll be national debt, 30, whatever trillion it is now. He'll put it up there. We talk about it often. Debt is important. The problem is, though, that most people don't get it. They don't see the value in it at all. And again, if I can't get them to hear me, it doesn't matter at all. They have to hear me first, right? The other, I think it was Mike who said, I like to use the word illegal when it comes to immigrants. Keith uses that word too. I don't mind. You do what you want. I use the word migrant because it's a neutral word so people will hear me. If you want to use illegal, undocumented, asylum seeker, you speak as you see fit. Again, I'm a libertarian. I purposely use the word migrant because it is neutral. I want people to hear me. That is my number one issue, my number one concern. Absolutely. David says, so after receiving a notice of 180% increase in home value for tax assessment for my last year, the question running around my head is, why isn't the market fixing the housing shortage? It isn't because it's run by the government. Government is allowing big business to buy everything. I wish it wasn't the end of the show. I could spend an hour on this. David, you are correct. It's a problem. We have to fix it. Maybe next time. Guys, thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.